Get ready for a deep dive into the most talked about show on television, because Sydney Sweeney is back as Cassie Howard in Season 3 of Euphoria, and the internet is absolutely losing it. Fans and critics alike are sounding off on every platform about her increasingly bizarre and polarizing storyline that has people questioning exactly where the show is going next. We are breaking down why this specific narrative choice has become the ultimate lightning rod for controversy, and what it reveals about the series as a whole.
Never get caught with a dead phone again. This INIU portable charger is compact, travel-friendly, and gives you fast 45-watt charging with a built-in USB-C cable, so there's no need to carry extra cords. With 10,000 mAh power, it's perfect for busy days, trips, emergencies, or anytime your battery drops too low. Grab yours on Amazon through the link in the comments before your phone hits 1%.
The conversation around Sydney Sweeney does not stop at the script because her recent full-frontal scene in the show has triggered a massive debate regarding industry standards. We are looking at the specific loophole that allowed this incredibly explicit moment to hit your screens during a primetime window. It is a technicality that has the industry buzzing and raises major questions about how networks navigate content regulations today. The latest episode of Euphoria is officially here, and it is serving up a heavy dose of nostalgia mixed with the usual high-stakes drama. We see characters like Rue, played by Zendaya, and Maddie, played by Alexa Demi, navigating a world that feels both hauntingly familiar and completely new as they transition into their 20s. The episode is a wild ride of grandiose statements and complex character dynamics that proves why this series remains such a force in modern television. Beyond the drama of the small screen, Sydney Sweeney is officially set to terrify us all as she teams up with director David Bruckner for a new supernatural horror flick titled The Caretaker. She is taking on the role of Macy Mullins in this high-stakes adaptation of a new novel, proving that her career is showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Make sure you are in the loop on all things entertainment by hitting that like button, smashing the subscribe icon, and ringing the bell so you never miss an update. Ever get the feeling that a show is actively bullying its own characters? If you've been watching the long-awaited third season of Euphoria, you aren't alone. The internet is currently in a tailspin over Cassie Howard's latest arc, and frankly, it's proving that Sam Levinson might be the show's biggest antagonist. Let's cut to the chase. Season 3 has given us a time jump, pushing our high schoolers into their 20s, but Cassie's trajectory remains stuck in a loop of humiliation. She's now living in a mansion with Nate, but when he refuses to splurge on wedding flowers, Cassie decides her next logical career move is to become an erotic influencer. And this is where Levinson loses the plot. We're treated to a series of bizarre, degrading vignettes. Cassie dressed as a dog on a leash, posing as a baby in a diaper, and sporting a baseball mitt with nothing else on. It feels less like character development and more like an endurance test for Sydney Sweeney. Fans on social media aren't holding back, calling it everything from a humiliation ritual to outright disgusting. And honestly, it's hard to argue with them. When we first met Cassie in Season 1, there was a tragic, nuanced depth to her, a young woman struggling with the void left by an absent father, desperately seeking worth through male validation. But somewhere between the glitter-drenched cinematography of the early seasons and now, that depth evaporated. Now, she's just a prop in Levinson's visual experiment. It's not just Cassie, either. Look at Barbie Ferreira, who famously walked away from the show because her character, Kat, had nowhere left to go. Or the fact that even veteran actors like Minka Kelly have had to actively fight for their dignity on set, pushing back against unnecessary nudity that felt less like storytelling and more like exploitation. When you couple that with the chaotic, boundary-pushing mess that was The Idol, a clear pattern emerges. Levinson seems obsessed with putting women in compromising positions under the thin, flimsy guise of empowerment. Even when the show tries to frame Cassie's new career as an attempt at independence, with Maddie stepping in to manage her, it just feels hollow. The show's own script explicitly admits that these characters are just being mined for their desperation. It's a meta-commentary that inadvertently reveals exactly how little the showrunner respects the people he's writing. Sydney Sweeney has gone on record saying she's comfortable with these scenes and views the female body as powerful. And look, she is a phenomenal actor who deserves respect for her craft. But there is a massive difference between a powerful artistic choice and a repetitive, empty spectacle. So, what are we left with? A show that once felt like a raw, essential look at the trauma of youth has shifted into something much more cynical. Are you still tuning in for the fashion and the drama, or has the exploitation finally crossed the line for you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are we witnessing a character's descent, or just a creator who has finally run out of things to say? Ever wondered how some of the most provocative scenes in television manage to bypass the strict rules of broadcast regulations? Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a fascinating industry secret involving Sydney Sweeney and her breakout role in HBO's Euphoria. You've likely seen the headlines, but the story behind how that intense full-frontal scene made it to your screen is actually a masterclass in media loopholes. While federal regulations usually dictate specific windows for explicit content, Euphoria navigated this landscape with surprising ease. The secret: it all comes down to the distinction between traditional broadcast and cable programming. Because HBO operates under a subscription model rather than public airwaves, it technically sidesteps the federal restrictions that constrain your average network television channel. It is a bold reminder of how the streaming and cable era has fundamentally reshaped the boundaries of what we consider acceptable on TV. It forces us to ask, do these regulations even matter in a world of on-demand content? If you found this breakdown of the industry behind the scenes interesting, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite shows. At the end of the day, the rules of Hollywood are often just as performative as the acting itself. Ever feel like your early 20s are just one long, blurry identity crisis? Welcome to the new season of Euphoria, where our favorite teens have officially traded their high school drama for the crushing reality of adulthood. But here's the kicker: they're trying to move forward while constantly looking in the rearview mirror. This latest episode is a masterclass in nostalgia, serving up that signature mix of breathtaking visuals and, frankly, some pretty exhausting choices. We see Cassie, still desperate for validation, asking, "Who am I?" while trying to monetize her image online. It's a painful reminder of her past, but is it a genuine evolution or just the same old self-destructive loop? Then there's Maddie, our resident queen of confidence, navigating the cutthroat world of Hollywood talent agencies and dealing with the stark reality of the post-pandemic grind. Seeing her and Rue bridge the gap is both unexpected and strangely satisfying. It feels like the show is trying to remind us why we got hooked in the first place, even if the plot feels like it's teetering on a tightrope of repetition. And don't get me started on Nate. He's playing a dangerous game of financial fraud, all while keeping secrets from a version of Cassie that is clearly still hungry for his approval. It's high stakes, it's messy, and it's undeniably Euphoria. Meanwhile, Rue is busy reinventing herself again, testing the limits of her California sober status while leaning into her old, magnetic pull toward Jules. The chemistry is still there, but you have to wonder, are they actually healing, or are they just fueling the next disaster? The show is still obsessed with its own aesthetic, throwing in heavy-handed commentary on the American dream, and honestly, it's hit or miss. We're watching these characters chase versions of themselves that might not even exist anymore. So, tell me in the comments, are you here for this nostalgic deep dive into their past, or are you ready to see these characters finally leave their high school baggage behind? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more breakdowns, because if this episode proved anything, it's that in the world of Euphoria, nobody ever really moves on. They just find new ways to stay lost. Ever scrolled through Craigslist looking for a gig and stumbled upon something that felt off? Well, Hollywood's new nightmare fuel, The Caretaker, takes that exact fear and turns it into a full-blown cinematic descent into madness. Universal Pictures has officially tapped visionary horror director David Bruckner to helm this spine chiller, and the lead, none other than the busiest woman in show business, Sydney Sweeney. Bruckner is no stranger to making our skin crawl. He gave us the brilliant, haunting atmosphere of The Night House and reinvented the visceral terror of Hellraiser. So having him adapt Marcus Kluwer's upcoming novel feels like a match made in horror heaven. The story centers on Macy Mullins, played by Sweeney, who takes a routine caretaking job on the rugged, isolated Oregon coast, only to realize she is the only thing standing between the world and an ancient, incomprehensible evil. It is that classic, trapped in a remote location trope, but with Bruckner's track record, expect it to feel fresh, claustrophobic, and utterly terrifying. Producing this nightmare is a power move too, with Sweeney joining forces with blockbuster titans Michael Bay and Brad Fuller under their Platinum Dunes banner. This project is dropping at the perfect time for Sweeney, who is currently riding a massive wave of success following the $400 million global haul of The Housemaid. From the high-stakes drama of Euphoria to the terrifying unknown of this new role, she is proving she can anchor anything. It's rare to see this level of genre talent and blockbuster muscle collide, and honestly, the result is shaping up to be a must-watch for any horror fan. What do you think? Is a Craigslist job ad the ultimate modern horror setup? Let us know in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button to keep up with all things cinema, and remember, sometimes the most dangerous jobs are the ones you shouldn't have accepted in the first place.